From Mexico to Louisiana, the Red River down to the Laguna Madre, Texas is one big playground. Join us as we take you on some of the best outdoor adventures the Lone Star State has to offer. There he is. This is Fishing and Hunting Texas.
You know, when I was a kid, as I went down the road, every body of water I saw, I tried to figure out how to catch a bass in it. So from being very young, I always liked fishing new bodies of water. It doesn't matter if it's a giant lake or a little small pond. I love trying to figure it out. So when I put my boat in the water or throw a cast into a lake, I'm trying to figure out how to catch bass. You know, when I first put my boat in the water, looking at that water, to me, water temperature drops down to low 50s, 52. And then I started back in kind of a big creek, really pretty, had wood, had grass, had just a little bit of everything, rock along the bank. I mean, it was really, really pretty. So as I'm going along, I start fishing that grass. Well, I don't get any bites. And I notice as I get farther back in that creek, the water started getting colder. It ended up being 48 degrees in the very back of that, whereas out kind of on the main lake part, it was 52 degrees. So as we come out of that creek, then I kind of get in the open body of water, in the open part of the lake. When I got in that open lake, to me, it's everything screaming jerkbait. I had already tried throwing a vibrating jig through the grass. I'd tried throwing a crankbait through the grass. I hadn't got bit on either one of those. But a lot of times when the water gets cold after it started to warm up, a lot of times on clear water lakes, a jerkbait can be really good. First bass of the day, KVD J300. You know, we got in this little lake and the water's just, it's pretty cold. You know, we've had a few warm days, but man, sun is good. And as the sun starts warming things up, hopefully they're gonna start biting. Then we went a little bit farther and I caught another nice fish on the J300. So it kind of started feeling like a deal. Look at that, you got that bait all the way sideways there. Wow. So one thing that you try to do, it doesn't matter what kind of lake you're fishing, we're in a small lake here, but what you try to do is you try to take that, whatever bait you're fishing in grass when you're this time of year, and you want the bait, see, you've got it deep in there, right there. Gotta grab some pliers. You want the bait to actually get down close to the top of the grass. And that's what I'm doing. I'm changing baits a lot because the grass differs. Lots of different kinds of grass, nice fish. We get out there in the little open water section by the dam and I'm starting to see some fish on live scope. Well, that's kind of what I want to see. I want to see if there's bait down there or if there's any fish just out in open water. A lot of times just looking at your electronics, whether it's just traditional sonar, whether it's clear view, whether it's side view, or whether it's live scope, you can tell how many fish are in an area, and maybe if it's an area that you ought to spend some time in. So I pick up a little swim bait, little raid swimmer, and I catch a nice fish on that raid swimmer. And for me, that fish just told me there are fish out here in this open water. I wonder if maybe you can catch more or maybe even a big one. That is so cool. You know, we got down here on the dam of this little lake, and you know, I started seeing a few fish. You know, a lot of times you got to look at your electronics. You start seeing a fish, then you start thinking, well, you know, hey, I don't know. And sometimes it doesn't work out. What's a nice fish? Fat sucker. That sucker's down in deep water. You know, sometimes it doesn't work out exactly like you think, but I picked up a raid swimmer, 3 1/4 inch, just on a ball head, and I'm just all I'm doing is just throwing it out there. I let it go all the way to the bottom, about 20, 25 feet. What I'm seeing out here is it's just, you know, it's open water. We're down near the dam of this little lake. And I was just reeling that thing really, really slow, and it loaded up. See if it'll work again.
Stay tuned. Fishing and Hunting Texas will be right back.
We know if you found one crappie, you may have found 1,000. We know the joy of getting your boots back in the mud. We know the journey can be more rewarding than the destination. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Stop by today for huge savings on the gear you need and the brands you trust. Plus free 2-day shipping at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com.
Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
You know, one thing I really love about small lakes is a lot of times I get to practice some of the techniques that I use out on tour, and I can spend a lot of time doing something that I just might not normally do. So, you know, in a situation like this, I get out here and I'm starting to see some fish on the depth finder and see some fish on live scope out in front of us, and I can just try things and just spend time doing it. And that's really how you learn. You get out there and you just work at it. The whole jerkbait is like swallowed in his mouth. That's crazy. Oh no, don't come off there now, dude. Ugh, God, look at that one. That's awesome. So I'm fishing this flat. Got grass all, that's a big fish. I mean big. Grass all around it. And we're gonna take a picture of him, let him go. We'll come back and talk about it in just a second. That was awesome. You know, what happens is that when you're using live scope, a lot of times you get your bait out there and you're not always seeing it. You know, you got to be pointing directly at it, but I happen to be pointing directly at it, and I look and there's a school of fish. You know, it looked like 4 or 5 fish chasing the bait, and they were getting closer to it, and I was like, they're all the way around that thing. And then all of a sudden I started fishing it slower and slower because I could see them, and it loads up, and that was a big one. You know, when you're fishing in small lakes, a lot of times what you throw is really dependent on how clear the water is. You know, one great bait to fish in clear water situations is a jerk bait. And the reason you do it is that a jerk bait is great around cover. It's not really that great when you got to bump into things, but when the water's clear, a lot of times you get near something and they'll come get it. It's a big one too, Michael. Monster. It's a monster. Gosh. That's pretty awesome. God, that's a monster. We are fishing small pond out in the middle of nowhere. Oh my gosh. And I just changed baits because there's a lot of fish suspended. Oh, look at that guy. That's so cool. Choked on it. KVD J300 right there. I'm gonna have to get some pliers to get that out of there. Let's see if I can get them real quick. What I did was, I started noticing when I was looking at my depth finder, and it's what you can do. Look at that's an 8-pounder right there. And I noticed those fish being out in open water like that. Look at that guy. I mean, that's a monster. Oh, that is too cool. That fish, I'm going along and I've seen a lot of fish kind of out in the open, both on just regular sonar and on live scope. And I see this one big one and I'm thinking, man, that's a big fish. I got to catch that one. I throw over there and I start jerking it, and that fish comes out of nowhere and just all of a sudden, I missed him one time and then it loaded up, 8-pounder. Hey, we might just catch a 10. That'd be cool.
More fishing action when Fishing and Hunting Texas returns.
Groundbreaking designs, unsurpassed quality, and unshakable confidence. Welcome to the Ranger Z500 and Z100 series. Leading the industry for over 50 years, these rigs are custom crafted and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver the ultimate ownership experience. The legendary Ranger Z series. Unleash next level performance. Evinrude E-Tech. Spend more time on the water.
What them sons of fishes up to now?
Fellas, I give you the Force Trolling Motor. It is the most powerful, the most efficient on the water.
Yep. Most powerful. We're really in trouble now.
And it's quiet, too. You can't swim here.
What a dumb bass.
This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you by Strike King, Owner, Perfection in Hooks, Sawyer, we keep you outdoors, and by TH Marine.
Hey, you know, when you're talking about fishing small lakes, what kind of baits would I pack? Well, I've actually got myself a little tackle bag. It's just a small Cabela's tackle bag. In the top of it, I've just got pliers and scissors. But then what baits do I carry? Because I always talk about variety. You want a lot of variety. And so in this box, you know, probably my very favorite thing to throw in a pond is topwater. And so, you know, I got a lot of topwaters in here. I got a sexy dog, I got a popping perch, I got a pad perch, I got a little pipsqueak, buzz baits, and then I got my worm weights. Now, the way I look at it is I carry my soft plastics in the packages, and I'll show you those in a minute. But I want as many different topwaters as I can find because I love throwing topwater. That's my very favorite thing. And if you go to a pond that doesn't get highly pressured and the water's warm enough, you can catch a lot of fish on topwater. So that's one box. Box number two, I've got baits like a KVD J200 or J300. I've got more buzz baits, Thunder Cricket. Now that's a great bait for ponds. It's a vibrating jig. You can put a variety of different trailers on there, a little small swim bait. I usually use a blade minnow, but this bait just you fish it either slow or fast, but you're reeling it through grass. A lot of ponds got vegetation in it. A lot of small lakes got vegetation. This is a great bait in vegetation. And then another great bait in vegetation is a swim jig. Swim jig, you have a whole variety of different trailers. You can put a swim bait trailer on there, or you can put like a rage claw, something that flaps. To me, it just depends on the lake. It depends on what the forage is. I like it both ways, and I'm gonna try it both ways. So that's another one. Then, third box, I've got spinner baits, because to me, a spinner bait is something you always want to throw. And then a variety of crankbaits. Red-eye shad is one that you can catch a lot of fish in ponds, especially early in the year, but if it's not a place that gets a lot of pressure, you can catch them anytime on it. And then different square bills. Now, I don't have deep diving crankbaits. Square bills, that's a 1.0. I've got a 1.5. And then I got a 2.5. Those are all just different size bait and different depth. All of them catch fish good. It just depends on the situation that I'm in. But those baits right there all can catch them. Then in this main compartment, I got swim baits, Rage swimmers. Now, Rage swimmer, that bait can go through the water. You can fish it deep on a head if you wanted to. Most of the time when I'm fishing a pond, I'm gonna fish it fairly shallow. I'm gonna take it, put it on a hook, I'm gonna swim it through grass. And so then we go to soft plastics. And soft plastics is really what I got the most of. Rage, craws, ochos, because probably a wacky worm's the very best bait you can throw. Blade minnow for my vibrating jigs. I've got toads. This is a super toad in case I want to fish across the top. So there's another top water. Caffeine shad. It's a soft plastic jerk bait. You jerk it in the water, it jerks, it kind of slings back and forth as it goes through the water. That'll get a lot of bites. Let's see what else I got. More rage minnows, more ochos. And then, really the last little deal I've got, I had worm weights earlier, is hooks. Now, if you just got 3 or 4 different styles of hooks, you can get by in almost every situation. This one here is a wide gap plus. I like a wide gap plus on baits that are kind of thick. So I take the hook, put it all the way through the bait, I skin hook it on the other side. So I've got that in a 4 and 5/0. I've got a straight shank wide gap. That one I like throwing like a wacky worm on, basically a ocho. Then I've got flipping hooks like a owner jungle hook, 3/0, 4/0, and 5/0. I carry all those. And then the last group of hooks I carry are the owner twist lock series. 6/0, 5/0, 4/0, and 3/0. Those are the baits that I'll fish like a rage swimmer with, or I'll throw like on a horny toad. Something that where the hook goes all the way through and it's got a little spring on the top that basically sits in that bait. Listen, you can catch fish on a variety of baits. This is the tackle that I carry. When I attack a small lake, you can catch a ton of fish. Look for those lakes and catch a lot of fish. Throwing a red-eye shad, fishing a pond. That sucker choked on it. Look at this. When I say choke on it, that just means they got it deep down in their throat. This fish is, boy, he's cold feeling. That's awesome. Grab some pliers down here real quick. You know, as you're going along, and this pond right here, we just put our boat in the water. I'm gonna let it go. We just put our boat in the water and immediately I noticed vegetation, but you can easily fish this particular pond from the shore because it's got shores that are accessible when you look all the way around it. And the fish are typically gonna be in that vegetation. The vegetation is an easy cast from the shore, so it's no problem at all. I mean, I'm tickled to have my boat here, but if I didn't, I'd just walk the shore and fish and try different baits. I mean, you just gotta, you know, you'll go a little bit, you'll feel that grass sitting on the shore. You gotta just kind of feel what's out there, see what your bait's hitting, try to find something that runs just above that grass. That's how you catch them.
Don't go anywhere. More fishing tips are coming your way when Fishing and Hunting Texas returns.
When you spray on a layer of Sawyer's permethrin insect repellent, you've just sprayed on adventure. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
This portion of Fishing and Hunting Texas is brought to you in part by Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler. Sunline, the strength to guarantee your confidence. And by Outdoor Action. Watch the outdoors anytime.
Get in here. Another one on a red-eye shad. You know, one thing I really like having when I'm fishing a pond, you know, I've got all the tackle in my boat, but I just like having a lot of options, lots of different baits. Fat fish right there. That's awesome. Now, I have a lot of really important pieces of equipment in this boat. I've got great batteries, great motor, great electronics, great trolling motor, rods, reels, baits. But I'll tell you one thing that I have absolutely could not do without, and that's a power pole. So I've got 2 power poles so that that front of the boat won't swing around. They basically go down. Listen, they're bulletproof. Power pole blades. They never have any issues. They've got I've got all kinds of remote buttons on the blade. I also got a lanyard I can put on. They make boat control so much better. That's awesome. You know, when it comes to sight fishing, boat control is the real key. You got to be able to stop your boat and stay in the position you want to stay in. You know, why do I need a power pole? Power poles become one of the most important pieces of equipment in my boat. I use it when I'm sight fishing. I see a fish on a bed, I stick those poles down. I used to just fumble around with anchors or use my trolling motor to try to get right on a fish. Power poles are amazing in that situation. Giant flats, it's a must-have on giant flats because every time you get a bite, you put those poles down, you're coming up to a reed line, you put the poles down, you fish the reed line really well. Coming up to a dock. Any kind of boat control situation, power poles are a must. Hey, thanks for joining us on today's show. If you get the opportunity, like us on Facebook, message us, let us know where you'd like to see us fish all around this great state. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Fishing and Hunting Texas.
Probably one of the #1 questions I get, you know, what line do I use?
That's a big debate. On every tour out there, everybody's debating which line.
I choose the simple side. My choice of line is Sunline.
One of my favorite lines to use is Sunline.
How all can you use it? Anywhere you want to. Anywhere there's water and bass, it's good. Walleye, catfish, trout, speckled trout, sharks.
There we go.
I don't say this unless I think it's true, but honestly, it's the best in the market.